What's up, everybody? And today we are watching a Grand Thumb video. Now, we've watched how many of his videos now? 2? Is it 2 videos we've watched as his now? Let me pull it up real quick. We've got the one where he did on the SA80 and the one that he's done on the Sig Spear. Now, with the Sig Spear, there was 2 major things I was kind of concerned about. Firstly, the rifle's relatively long. He's addressed that in a new video where the US Army have brought out a compact version of the Sig. It is called the MK18, okay, which we could do a video on that in the near future if you want. I don't want to watch too much Grand Thumb. I don't want to take views away from this guy. I think his videos are absolutely fantastic, and you should be watching this as a supplement of watching his content without me. Which reminds me, if you want to watch his videos, it's always going to be down in the description. Please go to the description, go over to his channel, like the videos, subscribe to his channel. It's very important that you do that. But yeah, today the other major complaint was, why have they changed from the 5.56? Why have they changed their rounds from the standard NATO round of 5.56 to .277? And this video we're watching is called "We Test the US Military's Newly Adopted .277 Fury Round." And so I'm very interested in this. He is obviously going to go into all this details. It's like a 17-minute video, long video, and I'm very excited. He's very, very smart with this stuff, and so it's going to be super interesting to see his opinion on the change from 5.56. I have a few theories. We'll get into them before we get started. But before we get started, check this out. If you're like me and you take the security of yourself and your family incredibly serious, then you need to start looking at your online security. Recently, AT&T announced that they lost data for 73 million people, both current customers and former customers. Their data went on to the dark web. This is why this channel is sponsored by Aura. Aura is your all-in-one place for online and data security. I don't know if you know this, but back in 2022, Americans lost $10.3 billion to online security, which far outweighed home burglary losses. Now, the reason for this is data brokers actually sell your information online to various different people, and this can be really harmful both for spam that gets put into your email constantly, and even data being leaked onto the dark web. So Aura is your all-in-one place for data security. They cover all aspects. Let me list off some of the things that they do: identity and credit monitoring and credit lock, password management, antivirus protection, VPN, that's virtual private network, home title monitoring, and data broker removal. They will go online and find all the data brokers that are selling your information and opt out. Clearing up the information that data brokers are selling not only stops all the spam in my inbox, but it also prevents hackers from getting that information and getting into my social media, my bank accounts, and using other sensitive information. It's all online. Your name, your full address, your health records. This is all online and needs to be cleaned up, and is very, very important here in 2024. If my info was compromised at AT&T, I wouldn't have to worry because Aura has my back, and that feels really, really nice. I value my online privacy and data security, and I also value yours. So go to aura.com/originalhuman down below and start your free trial today, and I guarantee you will not look back. Okay, so why change from the 5.56 to the 2.77? Let's pull this up. Let's check it out and let's see what Grand Thumb has to say about this new interesting change. I'm going to leave subtitles off. If you want subtitles on, then turn them on yourself. There you go.
Oh, it's going in. No, that's the start of the video.
Are you here to experience modern violence, the likes of which humans have never been able to conceive of?
I tell you what, that rifle is a good-looking rifle, isn't it? I really like the look of it.
Well, you're in the right place. Today, we are taking a look at the Army's brand new rifle. This is the XM7, which is now the M7. And it is firing the 2.7.
Wait, it's changed to just the M7? It was the XM7, it's just changed to the M7? Is that what it is now? If that's the case, I really like the fact that it's changed just to the M7.
7 Fury round. And for the first time here in Grand Thumb, we're going to be testing this round to its fullest capability. Now, we don't have the Army's projectile, but we have one of the possible projectiles that could be used. And let me explain that. There is an EPM type round, which Micah will pop up a little photo of right here. And then there are a variety of different rounds.
He didn't pop it up.
used within the United States military, from 77 grain to TSX. This is a solid copper TSX round, which is commonly used within combat. We are going to be testing its performance in gel. We're going to be testing its performance on human body analogs. We're going to be testing accuracy performance with Micah, because you're a better shooter than me, Micah. And then finally,
and then we're going to be testing it on Charlie.
On Charlie. And
okay, so before we get started with the video then, because there's probably going to do the montage and all that good stuff, let's give predictions, right? The biggest complaint about the 5.56 is that it's not a big enough round to get through modern body armor, right? That's the biggest complaint. But at the same time, the 5.56 is there for, it's not there for killing someone. It's actually there to injure them and disarm them and make them basically non-hostile. The 7.62 is there for the dirty work, if you get what I'm saying. And so that's why they have the 2 rounds, really. And so changing it, I have the question of, is it worth the amount of weight difference? Because you've got to think about the weight difference. And is it worth just going to 7.62? That's my biggest thing. At what point do you just go to 7.62 anyway, right? And so the weight change, because I think you're going to have a 25% reduction in the amount of ammo you have with the amount of weight you've got compared to 5.56. That's my theory. And how much are you away from just carrying 7.62 mags? That is my biggest thought on it. We know this is going to be a better round than the 5.56 when it comes to damage, because it's a bigger round. But they're the 2 that I'm more concerned about. Weight, and why not just the 7.62?
finally, we'll be testing against armor. Before we get started, I do want to congratulate Charles on getting through that clot. It was really hard. We, of course, have to thank our sponsors. This content is free, and the biggest sponsor of the channel is who, Charles?
Desert Storm Institute. They help you.
All right, I'll skip the ad for now, okay? Because he usually has like quite a few different ads, so let's just skip through them.
This beast full auto, which we'll see how we do. Let's get into it. Right here, we have the 277 Fury.
Here we go.
Is the new round of the United States military. As you can see here, we have a 113 grain solid projectile that's made out of copper, and we have a bimetal case. What that does is it allows you to have a much higher pressure within the case that it can withstand.
My biggest worry about that is price. I know the US doesn't have to worry too much about the price of stuff in the military because they get a lot of funding. But I am very interested to see, because it's not one whole casing, is it more expensive to make, manufacture?
Before bursting as compared to just a brass case. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and chrono this, see how fast this 113 grain projectile is going. Guesses?
2,400.
Micah?
How many grain?
113.
113 grain, 2,800.
See, I don't know the intricacies to be able to make a prediction on that. I don't know the science behind the rounds and how they're used to that extent. I am personally coming to this from a perspective of a former British Royal Marines commando. What's the difference to me on the ground? Do you get what I'm saying? This is going to get into some intricacies that we don't really need to know that much about, but it definitely gives us a bit more confidence in the round. I'm sure that's what it'll do.
800? I'm going to say 29.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Wow. Is that consistent? Yeah.
Dude, okay. Whoa. Hold on. Quick note here. So this Garmin chrono is incredibly accurate. And do you see what that standard deviation is?
Wow.
Now, we only fired 3 rounds with a standard deviation of 2.7. Is pretty insane.
So the real question is, like, at what distance, how many yards does that round turn to God and no longer is trans?
Right.
I can't with you. He means transonic. I couldn't give you that exact definition.
My thought is, after seeing that, is this a more powerful round than a 7.62? Is this better than a 7.62 in general? Which is crazy to think about, isn't it?
We don't have the BC on this round. Again, it is brand new. But apparently, according to the military tenders, a lot of these rounds are going to be traveling about 3,000 to 3,100 feet per second. So this is the speed that we do want to be seeing out of this projectile. And let's shoot into gel. Let's see what it does.
Yeah, let's do it.
We have ballistics gel right here. This is clear ballistics gel.
But they said they said the test, but in the video, It doesn't say the comparing specifically, but I'd like to know, I'd like to do a comparison between 5.56, 7.62, and 2.77. That's like the comparison I'd like to do, and then I'd like all the stats. This not going to give me that in this video, but I think it'll be an interesting way. But these are definitely more have more expertise in this knowledge than I do, because they're around it every single day and they do it for a living now, whereas I only did it for 4 years in the British Marines. So it's going to be interesting to get their thoughts on it.
It's not going to be a 1-to-1 of human flesh. It's simply going to give us a medium to test the round to see what performance and expansion are going to look like.
Yeah.
Okay, right here we have the 113 grain round traveling almost 3,100 feet per second, hitting gel.
Where's the gel? Oh, it's on the table. Whoa. The exit wound. Whoo. That's deadly,
that was one of the single most violent military type calibers I've ever seen fired through a piece of gel.
That's deadly.
As you can see here, we have a solid about 10 inches of penetration before the round began to flower, fragment, open up, and we have that explosive compression there as well.
That means if you've got a good 10 inches before the round starts to disintegrate and move about, that means you're probably going to get a relatively clean entrance, and the bullet is pretty much always going to go through if there's no body armor. Like, you're not going to get parts of the round stuck in a body. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, if you shoot, it's going to go right through, which is interesting.
This was a wildly violent, wildly effective round, and this was simply the copper projectile, the TSX. We're not even testing the EPM projectile. But I don't know what we expected. 113 grains traveling 3,100.
Do you know what? They should get these military manufacturers who are making these weapons. They should get them on these channels and being like, this is why we're doing it. They should be contacting Garand Thumb and T-Rex Arms and Brandon Herrera and all these other gun YouTubers. They should be contacting them and being like, look, this is what's going on and this is why we've chose it. They really should.
Per second is an insane amount of energy to be putting forth into gel or in a body or anything. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put 2 blocks back to back, since we didn't quite catch all the expansion, and see what we get, and then we'll put armor in front of it. All right, 277 theory through 2 gel blocks. Ready, Charles?
What's the gel made of?
Woo! Jeez.
All right, let's see here. Oh, holy.
Okay, apparently.
It almost looked like that first one just didn't move.
I don't know what happened.
Oh yeah, there it is on that one too.
Wow.
See it.
So what we're seeing is we're seeing good performance through barriers. I'm really interested to see what it's going to do through armor. I think armor's...
Oh my god, it looks brutal. I'm predicting that this is better than a 7.62 and it's lighter than a 7.62, which is mind-blowing.
Up next, do you think it's going to go through armor?
I'm excited. I think it's going straight.
We actually have the not stolen Lockheed Martin armor that's issued.
Wow. They're going to shoot that?
Okay, right here we have the government's finest armor. This is made by none other than the military industrial complex. This is level 4. Always wear your side plates. And how many rounds do you think it will take to get through it?
1.
In Call of Duty terms, that would be like you crack the armor immediately.
Yeah.
Oh, he hit it kind of on the corner there. Oh, that's brutal, that, isn't it?
Oh, wait.
It stopped it. Yeah.
It stopped it?
Yeah, it did stop it. Look at that. So we have a solid copper projectile, which is not made to penetrate armor. And as we can see, the level 4 definitely stopped it. Level 4 is...
I tell you what, though, even if you got shot with that and it didn't go through, the pain. Oh, you would feel like, you would think you've been shot and it would have gone through. That's what you would have felt like.
Rated up to... That smells weird. It's probably cancer. Level 4 is rated to 30.6 armor piercing. Armor piercing is a specific type of projectile in order to get through.
Right.
That being said, it's been hit once. What do you think a second round's going to do to it?
Go through.
I want him to hit it more square.
Find out.
Did he hit that more square?
I think it stopped it, dude. I think the armor's done, but I think it caught it.
Wow.
Yeah, it caught it.
Oh my god, the pain that would have felt. Sheesh. It
You're going
stopped
to need
it,
a
though.
projectile that's armor piercing to get through. As we can see, the round itself isn't.
I think that says more about the armor than it does about the round, if I'm honest with you. I think it just shows how effective that body armor can actually be, and means that you should be wearing your plates when you're out and about in a military war zone, which you're going to either way. I do remember that a lot of people, like the body armor we got issued, there was like all sorts of places and stuff where people were like, yeah, I'm going to take that off. I don't need that. I don't need that. Like plates that go like kind of down the side of you. But that goes to show how much that them plates actually do help.
It's going to do it by itself. We do need a projectile with some type of steel penetrator or something to get through. But now that we've seen some of this performance, let's see what it does on the human body.
Here we go.
Analog. We actually don't allow Charles near the dummies anymore. There was an incident. We have a ballistic dummy right here. This is a good approximation of a human. We have organs, we have bone, and we have fluid in there. So
He's got a plate on the side as well, so I'm wondering if he's going to shoot him from the side with the plate.
if you want to come over here to this side, Micah, you can see all the different stuff that the rounds are going to travel through. This gives us pretty good indication of performance. Now, this is not a one-to-one because it's gel. That being said, it does a good job of approximating.
It's going to be a good indicator. If he's going to shoot that plate, them ribs are broke. Them ribs are shattered. And so if you got hit with that round, even if it didn't go through a plate, you are out for the count. You need to be Kazavak's out. You need to be getting out of there ASAP. You're in that golden hour, because all it takes is a broken rib to hit a lung, puncture a lung, to puncture something, internal bleeding, before you know it, you're done for. And so I think it's just as bad as it, and you might even get a like if he hits that plate, it might even ricochet up into his armpit, which is bad, very bad.
Tissue, fat, muscle, all that kind of. Start with a side plate shot right here. We're going to see what it does to the ribs. This is a level 4 issued body armor from Temu, and it's really not his actual armor. And we'll see how it does, and we'll start going through the body and seeing how the 277 round performs.
Wake up in the morning. What's up? What's up, honey? Bam! Break my fucking ribs, dude.
You can't joke about domestic violence.
I could have been talking to anyone, dude. Could have been talking about my mom.
Who is that guy? Oh my god, look where he hit with that. Right where I paused it. Whew, smack bang in the middle. Let me... Each scene. Boom. Oof. Oh. Oh. That'll take the wind out of you, that, wouldn't it? Christ.
Well, it did break his ribs.
Did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that rib. It's straight out. It completely shattered it.
Yeah.
LeBron James.
And it fractured this one, fractured that one.
I mean, you can't not expect to fracture ribs if you're going to get hit. Like, even if it doesn't go through the plate, even if you're getting shot with a 9mm or anything, 5.56, you're going to crack a couple ribs.
And fractured that lower one as well. But that one is completely out of place. It could have punctured a lung, dude. You could be
You puncture a lung, you're gone for.
you could be dealing with a punctured lung.
Yeah.
I mean, from a further distance, he gonna be aight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna catch the round for sure if he's
Yeah.
getting shot at with TSX rounds. You know, what'd John say about this? He's like, it's chasing the dragon. He's like, I fire a 6-round burst, 5 hits you in your leg and 1 hits you in your plate. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Next up, we're
no,
gonna
he's
recreate
not
that.
wrong there, is he? Like, if he shoots in bursts, I mean, I don't think you should be shooting in bursts anyway. If you're on the ground, you shouldn't be shooting in bursts. You should be shooting single fire. But even if you're shooting single fire, you're not going to just shoot one shot and be like, done. You're going to shoot 2 or 3 rounds. Like, that's just the aim. That's just what you do, even if you're single fire. And so, yeah, you're shooting minimum 3 rounds, right? And if you hit one with a plate, the other one's going to be just above the plate or just below the plate or whatever, right?
A Marine coming upon a PLA member somewhere in the Pacific in 6 years.
Christ! Oh my god! Oh my god!
My favorite thing is when it just evacuates the head, right?
Yeah.
The head just leaves.
Rain.
We're continuing our island
Holy! Always wear your helmet, guys.
hopping campaign, and we're going to be going ahead and putting a round through the chest. This is the most commonplace to shoot somebody. That's what all U.S. military are trained to.
Yeah.
So upper chest with the 277 Fury.
You go straight through? Of course it went straight through, but what I'm saying is you barely saw it. Oh my god, look at the size of that exit wound. Ooh! That'll hurt in the morning. Christ.
That went straight through and blew a chunk out of him.
Yeah.
Came through, shattered all the ribs, and then we had a huge chunk taken out. Went through the scapula, the heart, the lungs, everything. Next
Yeah,
up,
it's
we're gonna
taken a
turn him
couple
into,
organs with it.
Superman after he finished doing his Superman career.
Oh my god.
We had to travel through. Whoa.
Perfect spine shot.
Jeez.
Oh,
And it completely
shattered. It took a whole vertebrae out. Look at that.
removed the spine. That is wonderful performance.
Wow.
We have
I mean, let's be honest. There's a reason the US is going to these rounds. Do I feel like NATO should all have the same rounds? I do. I feel like if there is a giant conflict, there should be reason for every country on one side to have the same amount of rounds. It helps tremendously with logistics. It really, really does. But at the same time, each country's got to look after themselves, whether they're part of NATO or not. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're like, listen, this is a better round, we want our military to use it, and we're changing rifles, it makes sense to do it right now, they're going to do it, aren't they? And if anything, it should be an incentive for the British military to be like, all right, we're shit canning the SA-80, let's get a new round in, even though they're just getting a new rifle now, so it's a pain in the ass to change their rounds. But still, it should be a massive indicator, shouldn't it?
the SIG, I don't even know, XM7, there it is. We got the SIG XM7.
Makes it easy.
And apparently this is 11 SD ammo. We're going to be grouping it at 100. I think I'm going to go on top. You're going to go on bottom?
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, that's that'll like
Wait.
Oh, look how clean that looks.
Definitely not as good as the first one, but...
Nah. Okay, I'll give it a shot. Oh yeah, not bad. Okay,
It's not a bad group. Let's go check it out.
okay.
Let's have a look at this.
Dude, I feel like I want to have you print one more time.
Well, yeah, so what we didn't show was while we were zeroing, we were very surprised because we were talking to St. John over there, and St.
What did they say this distance was again?
John's like, it's a 2.5 MOA gun. And then I did my first group, and it was 1 MOA. Like, it was...
It was tight.
It was like that.
Wow.
Then I group again. We're here. Mike groups.
Yeah, the consistency of this is also depending on, you know, the scope and everything. So I don't know if I can give this a good judge of the round itself. But at the same time, if I'm looking at this from a perspective of just a Royal Marine, trying to figure out, is this a rifle? Is this a round that's really worth it? I guess this is really important, isn't it?
We're
My
here.
group, this group is 2.5.
About 2.5. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's indicative of what you'd see from the gun. This was nice. That felt good though. I would call that a part of the accuracy of the gun.
Yeah.
Let's have you print one more time.
Let's send one more.
I'm gonna have it low though to make life a little bit easier.
For sure.
Nice, good group, dude. Micah's
Quick
group
shooting.
looked pretty good. Okay, so we did this group right here with Micah. That was a 1.8 MOA. That was awesome.
That was really good.
That's below the program requirements. Funny enough, the M4 carbine is only required to do like 3 MOA.
Yeah, and am I crazy for saying I heard reports of this thing being like a 4 MOA gun?
I've heard that before. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it also depends on they haven't got the exact round that they have in the US, but they said that this is a not as good as the round that they're going to have in the US military. So, if anything, this should show that the round they're getting in the military is even better than what they're producing in this video right now, which is very impressive.
That's because the barrels on these are only about 10K as far as how long they last. So I
that could
wonder if
be
they're
it,
getting shot
yeah.
out. There's a problem with the URGIs as well with the MA55A1.
That's sub 2. I say your group was right there
At
as
2?
well, about
yeah,
2.
You can't tell, but
You can't.
mine was right at 2.
And then that's probably over 3. That's
Yeah.
over 3. So
Overall, this is performing pretty well. But I think the best way to tell is begin to shoot far. So let's take it out and let's start shooting out to about 700 and see what we get. You say 1 mil? 1 mil?
Start with 1 mil.
Okay.
Just impact.
Nice.
Just a little on the lower side.
I'm gonna go
Probably
1.
like 1, 2, 1, 3.
Yeah.
Impact. Impact.
Okay. I'm gonna go out to 600.
What's the scope he got on that? What's the zoom on it?
Yep. Low right.
Impact.
Nice.
High left.
Oh, I saw it.
There you go. Impact. Interesting. I'd love to shoot this thing. I really, really would. I should have done more shooting when I was living in the US.
Like you said, there's very little drop.
So that first one's at what? 600?
550. So the second orange, 550.
And you only held 1 mil?
I held 1. That's not a whole lot of drop.
So he's shooting at 500 feet. Is that what he's saying? Is that what he's saying? 500 feet and it's 1 mil on the scope. Is that what he's saying? Because that's mental.
That's pretty good.
So what's nice is with such a fast round with a good BC, which means the BC is referring to its ability to carry through the air, you have very little drop. So what that means is your trajectory is flatter. That means impacting enemies at longer distances is much easier compared to 5.56. If we were shooting 600 to 5.56.
Oh, you'd be at like 5 or 6 mil.
Yeah,
so this
big time.
This makes life a lot easier. All right.
Like I remember shooting that distance in the Royal Marines, and we were moving the scope pretty high up. That's impressed. That shot me more than anything. That has.
Impact.
Too easy.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Impact.
500's too easy.
So this round has been adopted by the United States military for close combat forces. So that being the men who are going to be going into battle most. Think about the 82nd Air.
I've come away from this video incredibly impressed. I'm impressed with the rifle. I have given it its stick about being a bit too long, but obviously he addresses that in a new video where they've made a compact version of it. And now I'm starting to see that this round is really worth it. Again, they haven't really talked about the weight. Are you going to be carrying 25% less rounds because it's a bit heavier? But if them rounds are more accurate than a 5.56, is the trade-off worth it? It could certainly be worth it. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Airborne and others. I think that there's a lot of probably development when it comes to the projectile that's going to be used by the U.S. government, whether they use an EPM projectile or whether they use something like this, because it seemed to perform incredibly well. Clearly the gun is accurate at distance, much easier to shoot at distance than the current issued rifle, which makes sense. It is a much larger caliber. The recoil is fairly manageable. Jesus Christ. Would you put the gas at on this? Unless you're in the adverse setting.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Wow.
Easy.
Unless you're in the adverse setting. And I do like the fact that you do have a suppressor. So some issues I did run into firing this thing long range was that you definitely do, and this is a problem with all suppressors, but due to the amount of heat being put out by the round, you do get that suppressor mirage pretty quickly when you're shooting far through an LPDO or something. Have you noticed?
I'd love to. I feel like, and I think this happens with everyone who joins the military and eventually leave. Like, they're always like, oh, the new people get all the good gear. I wish we had that gear. And I feel like it's the same. My dad probably said it with me when I had the weapons and when I was shooting that marksman rifle and the shotgun and all that lot. They were probably like, I'd really like to shoot that. And now it's the same for me. I'm that old person that's like, God, I wish I had that equipment when I was in the military.
Side as well, Micah.
Yeah.
So that's always going to be a problem. You're always going to be dealing with heat. There's just no way around it, especially with a round this powerful coming out of this short of a barrel. But I think the technology is really interesting.
Yeah.
And I think we have a pretty good rifle here for the fight against China and the islands.
Yeah, I think the good thing about this rifle is it's a little heavier.
I mean, he knows. This is the truth. It's probably China or Russia that are going to be fighting.
Right. So you get a dude from Iowa jumping into, I don't know, insert random country name with oil, and it's gonna work out well.
Like
Who's this guy? Who's this guy? He's hilarious.
Total bench press of the entire PLA squad.
Exactly. He's just lifting their invasion boats up.
Yeah.
But let's say this is picked up by one of those small communists that really just, I mean, like I said before, aren't people. They're gonna have a hard time using it. So it's there's more factors than just accuracy at play here.
Yeah, you get that room temperature IQ Marine coming in with this thing.
Room temperature IQ Marine. That's the first time I've heard that. That's brilliant.
To kill, that's kind of what we want.
Yeah, well, a room temperature IQ Marine is still leaps and bounds ahead of a culture that eats dogs.
And bats.
Yep, and bats.
There you have it. Point is, the 277 is an incredible round. Can't wait to see more of it. I'm sure we'll be performing some more experiments with these rounds in the very near future. And Micah, what are your thoughts, man?
So I've been watching some, you know, drama and this thing unfold and all that, and I saw the training photo of the guy putting it on the barricade and this and that, and then I've also heard reports of it being 4 MOA. We averaged about 2 with all of it. 2 MOA.
Confidence is up with this rifle, I'm telling you right now. For me, it is anyway.
Is pretty stellar for a combat rifle, especially this short, and hitting out to 600-700 yards and only holding 2 mils was kind of crazy. So
yeah.
It made it very easy. I like it. The recoil's stout, but the round is good.
And that's going to be it for today, guys.
The round
so
is
thank you
good.
for tuning in. Tons more great content coming to you, and as always, stay looking cool. Yeah, final thing for you guys, dad advice of Colton, ranch hand, who might make a good father. Well, we don't know yet.
Yeah, he's working on it.
Probably not. Don't got no dad advice for you.
What do you
Not
make a
dad.
good father? Look at that hat.
Yeah, we're getting him there. Like, he's got the G9 shirt on. I told you to stop wearing that hat, though. We talked about it.
You know what? If I were Colton and I were doing dad advice, this is coming from Colton. It's that love your dogs. Never let anyone take your dogs, give up your dogs, or anything like that. Just spend time with it, right, Colton?
Yeah, sure.
What? All right, so he has got let me go back to his channel. He has got this video about the MK18, the Compact 6-bit Assaulter K. If you want me to watch that in the future, I will do. Again, I don't want to take too many views away from him. I think his videos are fantastic. So yeah, head over there down in the description if you want to go and check it out. You certainly can do that. As always, go down there. Also check out the links for all the ad down below as well. Other than that, that's it. I love you all. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.